I'll be right there. I'm just getting everything set up over here. Hello, YouTube world. I'm getting there. I'm just hang on. Let me make sure my mic is working. Yes. Is it? Yes. Okay. Good. I'm getting the Facebook portion going here. So hang on. Let me just get that copied and pasted. Okay. And going live over there. Oh, good. Thank you, Margot. Appreciate that. Trying to set up, I've got two laptops going. One has YouTube and one has Facebook Live. And I'm trying to see if the Facebook Live is going to fire up or not. So let's see. Okay. Okay. Well, welcome to wherever you're watching, whether you're on YouTube, which is over here on my right, and Facebook over here on my left. And I'll try to keep up with everything that's going on. I wasn't really sure. Oh, by the way, you may have noticed if you've been watching weeks, I added a little something back here. Go Dodgers. World Series champions. That was an exciting night. Was that Tuesday night? Was that Tuesday night? Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, that was Tuesday night. Wow. This week has been both very long and very short. I'll show you what I've been doing. Been doing this all week, every night around this time, which is basically putting this on and calling voters in my district and saying, hey, it's me, and I hope you vote for me, and so on and so forth. It's been let me just tell you, if you've never run for office before, even though this is now my fourth time, this week is this last week is the worst week, because you've done all your stuff, and you've done your mail, and you've done your TV, if you're doing TV ads, radio ads, you've done everything that you're going to do. And this is the week where you're kind of like, now what? And especially going into this weekend. Now, let me mention a couple of things I think is important and is very cool. Voter turnout. So if you got my newsletter today, there were some links on it and some pictures of voter turnout. Please refer to it. It's on my Facebook page. It says, if you have never received my newsletter, here is today's newsletter. So it's real easy to find. It's on my Facebook page. The cool thing about the newsletter I did today was it wasn't about, vote for me or don't vote for me, or vote for Bob or don't vote for Bob. It was just information, which is kind of where I wanted to go tonight. And so those of you who are writing comments on Facebook, I'm going to get to your comments and your questions. I just kind of want to lead off a little bit here. Voter turnout. So I'm going to try to do this from memory. The best year we ever had in Oregon for voter turnout was 2004, which of course was a presidential campaign. And it was 86.4%, I believe was the number, 86.4%. And one of the interesting things, if you're a Republican watching this, that you can take heart in 2004, the President George W. Bush campaign came to Oregon. Maybe you don't remember, but you remember he came to Oregon, and what we now call Antifa, I don't know what we called them in 2004, but it's the same kind of people, practically shut down Portland because he came into Portland. Okay, so besides that, the Bush campaign spent a lot of money in Oregon, and thus turnout was really high. Interestingly enough, if you like kind of geeky stuff like I do about voting, the Trump campaign has spent very little money in Oregon, and obviously he's not come here. And yet voter turnout is doing this. Now, the first thing people say is, yeah, but Democrats are turning out at a higher rate than Republicans are. Yes, they are turning out in droves and early and often, and I mean, they're turning out. But Democrats who are doing this for the first week and a half are starting to level off now. Traditionally, since we've done vote by mail in Oregon, Democrats turn out at about an 81% number on presidential election years, about 81%. Republicans turn out at about 86 to 88%. Sometimes it's just a smidge higher. So therefore, 86 with both combined and now NAVs thrown in, 86 would be a very good year. I am thinking, based on what I've been watching, the trend of both Democrat, Republican, and NAV/independent/third party. I'm lumping all those together. I think we're going to have a turnout in Oregon of 90%, and that would be insane. That would be great. What a great thing that we in Oregon could brag about is that we had a 90% turnout. What an awesome thing for Oregon to be known for. But as Leslie just pointed out on Facebook, yes, it's Democrats were here and Republicans were kind of, they were like this, and it's starting to do this. And traditionally, just so you know, the Republicans come in on the last day, on election day, traditionally. Again, I'm going by trends and history. History shows that Republicans in Oregon tend to vote on election day. They hold that ballot until election day and do it that day. And I don't care, do whatever, but don't forget. So my biggest thing that I've been trying to tell people who are watching this daily turnout is don't let that bother you. It's okay, because I just think we're going to have a record turnout, both Republican, Democrat, NAV, no matter what. I think we're going to have a record turnout. And I think this is really boding well for all people in Oregon, because the more people that turn out, the better it is. Yeah, Tammy says election day is sacred to some people. It really is. And I have to tell you, I was that way for many, 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 many years. When I used to do my radio show, my talk show, I used to get on there every year and say, I will not vote until election day. Here's what changed me on that. When I had my first run for office, my first campaign in 2014, one of the things that I did was I learned that that when you vote early, your name comes off the voter rolls. Well, we don't need to send a email or a letter or a thing to that guy anymore because he voted. So I started learning to vote early. And that way I don't get the mail, and I don't get the texts, and I don't get the phone calls. I still have to watch the TV ads if I turn on the TV. So, but you're right. There are a lot of people that really like to vote on election day, and that's fine. All right, over on YouTube, Squitterbean. What I love is YouTube people have these great handles. Squitterbean says, hey, Bill, we're turning Oregon red for the first time since Reagan. You know, that's a great point, Squitterbean. Oregon has not voted for a Republican president since Ronald Reagan in 1984. I think it's time. Okay, now let me go back through. So I didn't have a lot of points I wanted to make tonight. I just knew that this was the last time that we would probably have a chance to chat before election night. And in case you don't know this history about me, in case you don't know about how I am when it comes to elections, my best friend and I are absolute nerds when it comes to election night. Absolute nerds. I just got off the phone with him. I can't say who it is. He's just a very good friend. But my friend has already created the charts and graphs and maps that we do every 2 years. We've figured out we've been doing this since 1996. That's 24 years we've been doing election night together. And what we do is we cover the walls with maps of U.S. Senate, U.S. House, state Senate, state House, Secretary of State, President. We put them all, we cover the walls with all these graphs and charts and maps, and we color them in with red and blue pens. And we have like 4 TVs going with different networks and local news. And then we have laptops and smartphones, and we have everything going on right now on election night. And we started about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we go until it's over. Now, back in 2000, that was a bad one, because if you remember right, that's the hanging Chad in Florida thing, Al Gore and George W. Bush. And we didn't get, at 3 in the morning, I think it was, we finally said, let's go to bed. Let's just forget about it. It's not happening tonight. Now, I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. I'm hoping it's a landslide and we get out of there. But my friend and I are geeks about election night. We watch everything and we count down every little thing that happens. So that's why people ask, are you going to go to an election night party? Are you going to go to celebrate with so-and-so or so-and-so? And I say, no, you don't understand. My friend and I have this thing that we've been doing for 24 years and we can't stop doing it. So that's us. Okay, let me go to some of your comments and questions on Facebook. It's, oh, holy cow, it's a long list, so I got to start way at the top. Okay, Sharon says, howdy. Tanis, good evening. Norma, howdy. Chris, howdy. Elizabeth, go Dodgers. Yes, it's right there in the background. That is a seat cushion from 1981. World Series 1981, right there. Okay. Let's see. Sarah says, go Braves. Sorry. Go Dodgers, Leanna says. Angela says, go Dodgers. Let's riot. Ross Day's out sign waving. Good for him. Tammy, you have been working your behind off. And Tammy's one of the best at the hard work she's done. Squitterbean says, I'll be reloading ammo after the election either way. And Margot says, I see many Trump flags in Yamhill County. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You'll see them in Marion and Yamhill County. Let's see. Let me continue to read your holy ballot box, Batman. Mike Broberg, how you doing? Todd, how you doing? Yes, we need seats in the Oregon House, the Oregon Senate, the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate. Yeah, and Kelly, you're right. I know so many Republicans who have only voted the last day at the drop box. I did turn mine in yesterday, Kelly says. So good for you, Kelly. Well, Andrew, I'll be glad to address you. I did tweet in 2015 when I was a Ted Cruz fan, and still I have never shied away from the fact that I was a Ted Cruz backer in 2016 in the primary. And when Donald Trump won, I became a Donald Trump delegate to the Republican National Convention. I received the most votes of any delegate in Oregon. And I have been pro-Trump since that day when he won that primary and he was our Republican candidate for president. I became a Trump fan, and I've become an even deeper Trump fan because of the things that he's done as president. So you could go ahead and tell everybody, because I just did, and I'm an open book. I tell everybody everything. That's my problem. That's why I do these Friday night videos. There's nothing to hide. So, okay, you got me, Andrew. Nice job. Yeah, whatever. There is a great story behind that tweet. I was fighting for Ted Cruz. Okay, let's see. Some of us have only ever voted by mail. Leslie, that's a great point. I remember, because I grew up in Kaiser, I lived in Kaiser most of my life, off and on. What I loved is I used to go to Kaiser Elementary right over there. And you'd go in and a nice little old lady would meet you. And I don't know why it was always nice little old ladies. There was never young people. It's not a knock on anybody. It was just, that's the way it was. For those of you old enough to remember, it was always these sweet little old ladies that were volunteers. And they would have the big book with all the names in it. And you would come in and you go, hi, I'm Bill Post or William Post. And I'd say, hi, I'm William Post. And they would have me sign. And then they would hand me a ballot, and I'd walk over there to where there's and Leslie, I'm telling this story for you, so stay with me, okay? And then I'd walk over there to a booth, and there was a curtain, and you would pull the curtain, you would go in, you would pull the curtain closed behind you, and you would set your ballot down. And depending on what year and how it was done, you either punched a hole or you filled in the bubble like you do now. And you came out and you handed that ballot to the lady, and she gave you a I voted sticker and stuck it on right there. And you walked out going, yeah, I voted today. So I miss that. I really miss that. But, on the other hand, vote by mail. Here's the thing that's kind of cool about Oregon. We've got this thing down now. We're not like some state that just started last week. We've been doing this for 20 plus years. So we're pretty good at it. And what I like about it is, though it does tend to make people forget, you have your ballot for over 2 weeks. You have time to study everybody on it and to look them up and we have Google and Facebook and websites and internet and stuff. We didn't have that back then. We kind of had to just know who to vote for. And so now we can research more. So we have 2 weeks while it's sitting on your kitchen counter waiting to fill it out. So I think it's a good thing. Todd, we wait till the busy days because we are busy working. Yeah, true. Sarah says, I'm one of those. I still need to drop my ballot in the box and I don't have an excuse. It's okay, Sarah. Just get it in the box. Get it in the drop box by 8:00 Tuesday night. Just do it, says Kelly. And Amy says, Sarah, we love you anyway. That's right. Charts and graphs and maps. Oh, yeah, we're all over it. Leslie asks a good question. If people aren't able to get their ballot to a box, can someone deliver it for them? Yes, there's no law that says you can't. But in fact, today I was knocking doors on people who I was chasing ballots. I don't ask for their ballot. I just go to their door. It was in my neighborhood because I'm a precinct committee person. That's the most important thing that I'm elected to is precinct committee person. And today I went and knocked on doors and said, hi, Bob, how you doing? Don't forget to vote by Tuesday night. So one person said, would you take our ballots to the, and I said, whoa. You know what? No, I don't want to do that. And no, you shouldn't ask anybody to do that. So I don't think it's against the law. It's just not cool because how do you know? Even if you trust them. Now, if it's your family member, your best friend or something, sure. I understand that. But I wouldn't take a stranger's or, okay, do you get where I'm coming from? Okay. And Carlos replies, as long as it's signed by you, someone else could drop it off for you. My wife dropped mine for me the other day. Yeah, absolutely. I dropped mine and my wife's. And when my son was living at home, I dropped his too. That's different. What I'm getting at is I wouldn't give my ballot to somebody to drop off necessarily. Does that make sense? Andrew Sullivan, what has the NRA done to help reelect Trump? I don't know. I'm a state representative. I don't pay attention to what the NRA does or doesn't do for Trump. Sorry. Norma, you've been the bearer of bad news lately. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to tell people what's going on. I'm going to go over here to YouTube for a minute because there's quite a few comments here. Let's see. Margot says, I too wanted Cruz to be president in 2016. I voted Trump because Hillary was a nightmare. Trump earned my revote, though. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that were with me and with others who did not vote for Trump in the primary in 2016, but then absolutely voted for him in the general election. And he has earned our vote now. Let's see. Squitterbean says 20 plus years of mail-in voting and 20 plus years of Democrat control. Yes. But also there are 1 million Democrats, 750,000 Republicans. There's 250,000 more of them. So what do you think is going to happen? Okay, let me go back here. Tana says, I still love Ted Cruz, nothing to be ashamed about. Yeah. And Tammy points out, I received a flyer in the mail about local Republicans running from the NRA. So yeah, they sent one out on my behalf too. Let's see. Jana Reagan says, hi, Reagan. Named after the best president ever. Well, hang on. Up till now. Now, people who tell me that Donald Trump is the greatest president ever, I always say, hang on. He's got to have 8 years. 8 years. after 8 years, and history decides that. I will never declare a current president, no matter how much I like him, as the best president ever, because history must judge, and they have to have 8 years. Ronald Reagan was the greatest president ever in my lifetime. Lynn Johnson, if you don't read it, you ought to read a comment from Lynn here talking about when she was a kid watching her parents go and vote. What are you trying to make me feel old? Kelly says, Bill, you tell everybody everything, which makes you a non-politician, which makes it why we freedom lovers love you. Well, I try. You know what? I mean, holy cow. I'm not a politician. I never will be a politician. I can't stand politicians. If I die tomorrow and somebody chisels on my grave statesman, I'm going to get out of that grave and I'm going to bust that thing down, because I am not a statesman. I don't want to be a statesman. I don't want to be a politician. I'm just Bill, the DJ who got elected, and that's what I do. And I have principles and standards that I stand by and I live by, and that's what it is. So it is what it is. So thank you for the kind compliment. But I will always tell you the truth. You may not like what I have to say. You may not agree with what I have to say, but it's the truth. Mike, I miss getting the sticker. I agree. Will I go live on election night? Maybe. But the problem is my good friend does not want you to know where we are or who. So it would have to be, I have to go somewhere. So we'll see, Tammy. We'll see about election night. And Daryl says he always votes on election day at the election office. Let's see. Justin Huang. Hey, Justin Huang is going to be a state senator from Senate District 25. I think I got that right. Justin Huang is on with us on Facebook. Justin ran for the House 2 years ago, and now he's running for the state Senate, and he is the best. Justin, love you, man. He says, same here. I was knocking doors today and asked the same question. I told him to go exercise your right and be proud. Way to go, Justin. Justin's going to be in the Senate. I'm pleased. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Sharon asks a great question. Who chases ballots at old folks' homes like the village at Kaiser Ridge where my mom lives? My mom has dementia and was willing to vote Biden, though she had a Republican and NRA history. I corrected her. It's a good question. You're going to have to be responsible for your own family members. Yeah, because I don't want people going there and harvesting ballots. That not with ill intention. Sarah is right. My hubby is on the ballot, so I have zero excuse. I'm making it a priority and doing it now. For those of you who live in Newburgh, Nick, I think on the ballot, he's Nicholas Morace, Morace. I highly endorse him. He is running for city council. I also endorse 3 in the city of Kaiser, right here where I'm at. Laura Reed for re-election, Ross Day for election, and Kyle Duran for election. And of course, Kathy Clark for re-election for mayor. You can find my Bill's voter guide at billpost.com, www.billpost.com. I have Bill's voter guide. I have just about everything in the state that I could think of and find to get going. Tanis asks your prediction for the election. Whew. I think Pennsylvania is the key. I assume you're talking about for the presidential election. Pennsylvania is the key. I believe there are states that Trump is going to win, and there are states that Biden is going to win. And it's going to come down to potentially a tie in the Electoral College vote minus Pennsylvania. Watch Pennsylvania. That is the key, in my humble estimation. Now, in Oregon, I believe we're going to pick up some House seats, and I believe we're going to pick up 1 Senate seat, and we're going to retain the Senate seats we have, and we're going to be good. And I believe Kim Thatcher is going to win as Secretary of State. Andrew asked me, what do you dislike about the president's policies? I love his policies. Do I wish he would get off Twitter once in a while? Uh-huh. Do I think he's sometimes a jerk? Yeah. If you don't, you're crazy. I mean, come on. He's not what we all, he's not like Mr. President. But on the other hand, that's what a lot of people love about him. But as far as his policies, I love his policies. Yeah, Trump's not a politician either. Tamara, I used to love it when my mom showed up during school day at my school to vote. She made sure she came when I would be at lunch to say hi. You're making me feel old, Tamara. That was me, and I'm not your mom or dad. Amy, my mom did that too. And Daryl reserved a hotel room in downtown Portland for election night. What? You want to be there to see it get burned down? Is that because that's what's going to happen? Here's my prediction for election night. Tanis asked earlier. Every major city in Oregon is going to get burned to the ground by Antifa because Trump's going to win, and they're going to burn everything to the ground. That's what's going to happen. Let me see over here. New people on my YouTube. Mary Q. Hi, Mary. Hi, Bill. Our whole family voted red today for Oregon. Trump is our outsider, non-politician. We love him. And Squitterbean is still saying Bill Post, Governor 2022. Let's get through this one, can we? Let's see. There's Bill's voter guide. Thank you, Tammy, for posting Bill's voter guide. And yes, I even included some McMinnville stuff. Shauna, thank you. Congratulations on the Dodgers win. Yay, go Dodgers. Let's see. Daniel asked, when are you running for governor, Bill? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be 62 years old that year. I'm going to be 60 in less than a month. That is too old. Go Kim Thatcher. Yes, Kim Thatcher. Kim is definitely going to win Secretary of State. Who was the first president you voted for, Tammy asked? Ronaldus Maximus, 1980. It was 1980. I remember Governor Vic Atiyeh was running for his last race when I became old enough to vote, but because my birthday's in late November, I didn't get to vote in November of 1978. So my first full election was November of 1980, and I voted for Ronald Reagan. And I also worked on the Ronald Reagan campaign as one of the college ambassadors. I forget what they called us, but we went around to colleges and spoke for Ronald Reagan. So I go all the way back to 1980 and voted for Ronald Reagan. Well, anyway, he was the greatest. Tanis asked a good question. So if Kim Thatcher wins, would you consider replacing her for Senate District 13? Yes. Now, I've explained on one of these live videos before, it's a very complicated procedure. It's not a matter of I just step in and take over. That's not how it works. It's a very complex process. But yes, I would put myself up for that. Absolutely. What do you mean, boo Dodgers? Get out of here, Ross. I'm not going to vote for you. Oh, I already turned in my ballot. No, Mary, I hope I'm not correct either. I really do. I'm being somewhat lighthearted, but on the other hand, it's very sad. Hey, Blair, I do support Brian Stout in House District 31. Great guy. We do need a Republican governor. 2022 is our next chance. When and why do you think Oregon switched to blue? I think it was the transfer of people from other states. You know, when I sit in the Oregon House, so many of the members that get up and give speeches, I kind of Google them real quick or Facebook check them and see. And I find out they just came here from Minnesota 7 years ago, or they just came here from California 9 years ago, or they just came here from, and it's all blue states. They all came here because Oregon has become the Mecca for sort of the left. I don't understand. So it happened sometime in the 90s. Things really changed in the 90s. Well, Andrew says a good question. What do you think about Christians that vote Democrat when Democrats are pro-choice? I have a hard time with that. I'm not going to question people voting for whoever they vote for. It's not my right to do so. As a Christian myself, I don't know how one can justify being pro-choice and being a follower of Christ. I don't know. So I'll leave it at that. Let's see. What other things do we have? Okay, Squitterbean's going to hit the pause button until next Friday. I don't know that I'm going to be on here next Friday, Squitterbean. I don't know. Yeah, Tammy just came here from Florida, a red state. Shauna says California took over Oregon. Yeah, clear back in the 70s when Tom McCall was governor. Look, he said, or Californians, come visit us, but please don't stay. Excuse me. He was very clear about that. He knew what was going to happen. I don't understand. Look, it's no secret. I moved here from California in 1970. I was 9.5 years old. I barely remember my time in California when I was a kid. I have been an Oregonian since 1970. And when we came here, my dad so loved Oregon and loved the Oregon way of life and loved everything about it. He just indoctrinated into us. We are Oregonians now, and we do what Oregonians do. We don't bring our stuff here. We do what Oregonians do. And we hunt and we fish and we support timber and we support all those industries. That's what we were taught. And, one of the other things that my dad taught me when it comes to having this much or having this much is my dad, he would drive to the big house down the street and he would say, you see, those people have worked hard and succeeded and gotten what they got because they worked hard. And we're going to work hard and we're going to get that too. And that's what we did. Now, I'm not there, but my dad was. He was very successful businessman and then later the founder of Northwest Medical Teams. And he helped people all over the world. And he was able to do that because of his success in the business world. But coming to Oregon, we wanted to be Oregonians. We didn't want to make Oregon California or any other state. We wanted to make it stay the same. So I don't understand that mentality. Boy, I hate California. I'm leaving California because they've gone crazy. And then they come to Oregon and they build the same stucco homes that they build in Southern California. No, we want it to be Oregon. Okay, enough of that rant. Yeah, Mike, you're right. Cheap real estate in the 90s was a big driver. Okay. Natasha says, I read your voter's guide before I voted straight Republican. We love Kim Thatcher like we love you and all you do for us, just as we love our President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence for all they do for us. You bet. You bet. What are my thoughts on Oregon's 4th and 5th congressional districts? Will Republicans win them on election day? Boy, I sure hope so. Those are two incumbents who have been in for a long, long time. Peter DeFazio down in District 4 and Kurt Schrader here where I live in District 5. Alex Skarlatos is the Republican in District 4 and Amy Ryan Corser in District 5. I think they both have a very good chance. I think of the two, if I were to flip a coin, I think Alec might be a little more ahead, maybe, but I just don't know. Boy, those would be great seats to flip. So I hope so. Andrew asks, do you plan on representing or even listening to folks in HD25 who don't vote for you? Always have. You know how many people come into my office during session who say, hey, I didn't vote for you, but I hope that you'll help me with this issue? Boom, we're on it. We don't care who votes for us and doesn't vote for us. We're there to represent House District 25. And I have to give kudos to Abby in my office who puts all those things together for me and brings them into me and says, this is from one of your constituents. If you have not received an email answer to an email, if you've not received a phone call answer to a phone call, then we may have just missed it. But we always, I have been told by other representatives in the Oregon House, why do you answer every email? Why do you answer every phone call yourself? Abby answers them. What I mean is Abby sees them and then she puts them in my box and then I answer them. I answer every email, every phone call. I don't know how else, Andrew, I can represent you. Am I going to vote the way you want me to vote, Andrew? Because I know you, Andrew. No, never. Find somebody who does and help them win. I will never vote the way the Democrats and the progressives in this state want. I will never vote yes to some of the crap that they introduce. Never. That's not why I got elected. I didn't get elected because you chose not to vote for me. I got elected by a majority, or I hope so again on Tuesday, by a majority of the voters in this district who say, we like what you stand for and we want you to vote for us and vote for what our thoughts are. So will I represent you? Absolutely. Will I listen to you? Absolutely. Will I act upon your desires as a constituent? Yeah. If you have a bill you want me to run, I'll run it. So, Andrew, come on, we know that's not true. Okay, so I'm not going to spend all night debating with you, Andrew, because you're wrong. Sorry to bring it to you. Yeah, I listen to people from all over the state. Yes, Abby is amazing, and she is a blessing to me. Tammy, preach, Bill. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Bend has gotten super bad. Liberals have infiltrated heavily. Yes, they have. That's a mess over there right now. It's not what it was when I was a kid and lived in Redmond and went to Redmond High School. When I went to Redmond High School, Bend had a Bi-Mart. That was the big deal. Things were different in the 70s. People rode horses into the high school at Redmond and tied them up to. Elizabeth, can you talk about your reasoning for voting no on all initiatives? I don't have them right here in front of me, so it's going to be hard to do it from memory. But I believe let me see if I can remember. 107 is the campaign finance reform vote. That was a bill in the legislature that was referred to the voters. I voted no on the bill in the legislature because I don't believe it's right. I believe that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that you can give as much money as you want to any candidate because that's your First Amendment right. Do I like all the money that's being spent? Look, there's some House races and Senate races here in Oregon. I'm just talking state races that are crossing over the $3 million mark. That's crazy. I believe there's a better way to do this without violating the Constitution. And this particular ballot measure 107, I believe, violates the U.S. Constitution. And I think it's going to end up in court. 108 is the tobacco tax. Since when do I ever vote for a tax? I hate sin taxes. Which sin is the bigger sin that you can tax? If people are overweight, are we going to start taxing Diet Coke or Coke? Or should we tax candy bars? What do we tax? What do we tax next? Well, we got to make people stop, so we're going to tax them. So 108, that's an easy no vote because it's a tax. 109 and 110 are a little more complicated. I believe they're just wrong ideas. We cannot legalize some of these drugs that they want to legalize. And so those are easy no votes for me, but they're a little harder to explain because there's libertarian sort of thinking. And libertarian thinking is it should all be legal, and I just can't agree with that. So I'm a no on 109 and 110. I hope that helps, Elizabeth. Yeah, Kip, the Beatles song "Taxman" applies here. Yeah, if you lay in bed, I'll tax your bed. If you sleep on your head, I'll tax your head. Yep. Oh, Mary Q brings up something about on my YouTube page. She says, prayer warriors fighting back. If you live in the Salem-Keizer area, can I invite you to something on Sunday night at Salem Evangelical Church? We're going to have our normal 6 p.m. prayer service, but this time it's specifically for the election. And you're welcome to come, but remember, we're limited to 100 people, and our church does enforce that. It's 100 people, and you do have to wear a mask. I don't want to get into it about the masks. Okay? That is the choice of what our church does because that's what the mandate says. No, it's not law. It's a mandate. It's an executive order. I get it, guys. Don't start in with me on the masks. But our church does ask that you wear a mask and socially distance. So that means not huddling together and praying together, but coming into the church, sitting in a pew, kneeling at a pew and praying. We welcome you to come and go as you please. It's not like you come at 6 and you stay until 7. You come in, you pray, you leave. Salem Evangelical Church, just off of Broadway, just off the Parkway on Broadway in Salem. We invite you to come this Sunday night at 6 o'clock to pray for the elections, just to pray for America and to pray for Oregon. You don't have to pray for a particular candidate or a particular party. You just pray for America and for Oregon. So thank you for Mary for reminding me about prayer. Let me go back, answer a couple of questions. Just for certain hospice care. I'm not sure what you're asking about, Norma. About the ballot measures. No, I don't believe so. I believe that it's a slippery slope. It's like when we legalized medical marijuana, you knew they were going to do recreational. I don't like slippery slopes. Elizabeth, the voters pamphlet is so convoluted and wordy. I appreciate your insight. Yeah, absolutely. So, excuse me. That's not COVID, it's dry throat. The voters pamphlets are very difficult to understand, especially for campaign or for ballot measures because of how they're written. Very confusing. It's an easy just, I vote no. Mary Clark, will it be on website? You're going to have to, will what be on which website? So Mary, get back to me on that. Sonia asks, what can we do about Kate Brown today walking back the over-the-top response to shutting down schools? Are there no repercussions for the damage that has already been inflicted on our families and kids? Well, that's a whole edition of the show that we could do. I will tell you this. This was all political. Is it any coincidence that on the day that we had the highest amount of positive tests that were lowering the metrics to open schools? Now, remember, I'm all for getting the kids back in school. But what I'm saying is, why were the two on the same day? Well, here's why. Because House Democrats and Senate Democrats that are running for office are getting the snot beat out of them by Republicans in campaign ads and mailers saying, you don't care about the kids being back in school. You don't care about the kids. You don't care about the kids. And rightly so. So the governor does this today. Oh, magically, right before the election. That's what that's all about. Catherine replies, don't give that inch. I am a mental health professional. Having worked in addictions, not good. Thank you for asking. There you go, Norma. There's your answer. And Mary says, thank you, Bill. That's the important thing we can do. That's right, prayer. Okay, we're going on 45 minutes here. I don't want to be here all night. You don't want to be here all night. You have better things to do. I have better things to do. I like eat. Eat would be a good thing. I'm kind of hungry. Leslie, no, it's not a coincidence. I hope a lot of people start asking even more questions. Yes. And you're welcome, Sonia, or Sonia, or however you say that. Well, this has been delightful being with you again. Oh, the church prayer meet on Sunday night. Salem Evangelical Church, SEC.com. No, I can't think of the website, but look it up. It's Salem Evangelical Church. And we have our prayer service on Sunday nights. Every Sunday night we do this. But this Sunday night, Pastor Randy has designated it as specifically for the election. So Mary Clark. We're just doing that. So remember, we can only have 100 people. But people can come and go. John, you rock, Bill. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're very kind. Margot, thanks, Mr. Post. You bet. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. I think I'm going to wrap this up. Any last minute questions? And no, the prayer service is not streamed on the website. We only live stream the Sunday morning service. There, John just put up the link, salemec.com. I knew it was something like that, salemec.com. Find out more about our church. And certainly if you live in the Salem-Keizer area, or if you live somewhere else and you don't mind driving, I would invite you to our church. I love our church. I think it's fantastic. And we have a great staff and a great pastor and great people. And it's a great place to call your church home. Lynn, thank you. And the same to you. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this thing up here by saying, if you have not voted, we started this whole video off talking about voter turnout and how it's been really good and great, and how a lot of Republicans wait until election day. I get that. Please don't make this mistake, because this mistake has happened. I've had it happen over the years. I've had people tell me, it was on my kitchen counter for 2 weeks and I just let that Tuesday slip by and I forgot all about it. Don't let that happen. If you really want to vote on election day, you know what? Use this smartphone thing. Put it in there as an alert. Vote on election day. If you don't mind voting before, I would strongly recommend you sit down tonight and fill out that ballot. And here's something I want to address real quick. I've had a lot of people ask me this year and in past years, I don't know who to vote for on this judge or that county or this city or whatever, or that ballot measure. I don't know how to vote, so I'm not going to vote. There is no law and there is no rule that says you have to fill in every single thing on the ballot. Not at all. If you don't know, then just pass that one by and go to the next one. Go to the ones that you do know. If you know who to vote for president, vote. If you know who to vote for House District 25, vote. If you know who to vote for county commissioner, Danielle Bethel, vote. If you don't know, don't vote on that one. But don't let that stop you from voting. Vote what you can. And I would also ask you, if you live in Marion County, there is one write-in that we're really, really pushing hard. I can't believe she stepped up to the plate and said yes. Linda Saylor for Marion County Soil and Water Position 1. Write in Linda Saylor, Saylor. I mean, nobody ever runs for that position, and she's willing to run. So fill out your ballot tonight. Take it tomorrow and drop it at the drop box nearest you. Again, if you go to my Facebook page and look at the post where I said, here's today's newsletter, open that newsletter. It'll open for you. Open that newsletter. In it has all kinds of links, how to track your ballot, how to find a ballot box near you, how to watch voter turnout. Everything's there. So, and Mary says, I don't leave anything blank, though. Fill in the bubble and write no confidence so that nobody can fill in the vote fraudulently. You could do that, but it's okay. You can leave them blank. Nobody down at Marion County is going to fill in your ballot. I have been a watcher, and it's been fine. I think the hysteria and the theories, the conspiracy theories, have gotten a little out of hand this year. We have a very good system in Oregon, and I think it works great. Jairus Watson, what is the air velocity of an unladen sparrow? That's great. Jairus is a good old friend of mine. And I'm gonna punch him in the nose the next time I see him for asking that question. What are you talking about? What is the air velocity of an unladen sparrow? If a train is going 75 miles per hour this way, and a car is going 60 miles an hour this way, and there's ice cream on both, and they can't have fudge, how far away is the mountain? That's Common Core math for you. Bob Bush, African or European? Yes, Linda Saylor, Marion County Soil and Water Position 1. I don't have it in front of me. Go to Bill's Voter Guide. It's in the comments. There's a link. Bill's Voter Guide. Elizabeth, go to Bill's Voter Guide, and it's in my voter guide. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's Marion County Soil and Water Position 1's Director Zone something. I can't remember. I voted like a week and a half ago. Okay, I'm going to say goodnight because that question is insane, and I love it, Jairus. You're killing me. I need to go eat dinner. It's been almost an hour. I appreciate everybody joining me for these Friday night little shindigs, and thank you for being here, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook. I appreciate you. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your questions. I appreciate you very much. Can I just humbly say, vote, 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 vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Vote. Don't wait. I know there's people like to wait till Tuesday and vote on election day. If you're absolutely sure you're going to vote on election day, then do it. But if you're not sure and there's even the slightest chance that you're going to forget, do it now. Get it over with. Get it ready. And then go drop it on Tuesday if you have to. But then you might forget. Don't let it go. This is the most important election in my lifetime. vote. I'm going to say goodbye. If you joined us late, either on YouTube or on Facebook, you can rewind this thing and watch it afterwards, if that's the kind of torture you like to do to yourself. But have a great evening and a great weekend, and let's vote and let's change and let's make Oregon normal again. Bob Bush, what's the hashtag? Bob, what's the hashtag? Hashtag Mona. Make Oregon normal again. Hashtag Mona. Make Oregon normal again. It's already great. I love this state. It's already great. Make it normal again. Okay. Have a great weekend. If you want to come Sunday night, Salem Evangelical Church, and pray for the country and for the state and for our elections, please join us. 6 o'clock, Salem Evangelical Church, just off Broadway on Locust. We'll talk to you sometime soon. I don't know when, but sometime soon. I'm going to end this thing now because I'm running out of gas.